start down here to the left.
Councilman Dean Moore. Councilman Mario Williams.
Councilman Awad Iyasu.
Councilman Ahmed Hassan.
Councilman James Carroll.
Councilwoman Beverly Burks.
Mayor Ted Terry. And we've got 2 items on the agenda here. And as the council members beforehand, we didn't put public comment on here, but it's okay for council members. I'll just open it up for if anyone here wants to say something, in a couple minutes max, hopefully, and about anything you want to talk about. You just stand up if you want to recognize you.
I do have, can we ask a question?
Won't be able to answer it, Aaron, but afterwards we can.
Well, I don't want to say anything about it, but
Just public comment in general. You got anything to say?
well, I was specifically concerned about what I had been told about the issuance of bonds for a friendship force. Is that on the agenda?
It's on this agenda, although there's nothing to vote on. So
I can answer that for you.
You
I
can?
can tell you why it's on the agenda.
Okay.
well, we're taking public comment now. So if there's nothing else.
We're going to address it though, definitely.
We'll tell you why it's on the agenda.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything to public comment? Okay. All right. Item number 1, approved resolution that the Georgia State Legislature create a specialized Clarkston Downtown Development Authority. This resolution is sponsored by Councilwoman Burks and Iyasu, and I'll recognize Councilwoman Burks.
Thank you, Mayor. As we discussed last council meeting, we talked about this resolution in terms of the Clarkston Downtown Development Authority. With this resolution, we are specifying the officers and the structure for the DDA. As you know, with the legislature, they allow us to have an opportunity to have a generic DDA system where it would be comprised of 7 officers, 1 would be council members. What we're doing with this is to make sure that we have 3 council members, and the council will vote on who those 3 council members are, on the council, and then have 4 members of the community. 2 would be citizens of Clarkston, and then 2 would be outside, or the option could be outside. Why we did it that way was to ensure that we had expertise available to be a part of the Downtown Development Authority. So if we needed someone who was a developer who had that experience and that expertise, we could have them to be a member of the Downtown Development Authority. And so this is the structure which we have in place. We did have the opportunity to speak to our legislative members to let them know that this was the type of structure that we would like to have for the city of Clarkston. They did not have any objections to it. What would happen is we would have this information submitted to legislators, and this would be part of the local legislation, the local agenda item. And so at this time, we'll have a chance to talk about it. Councilman, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
We actually discussed this, extensively in our last council meeting. However, since Mayor Ted Terry was out of town at that time, we did not want to vote on it, and we tabled it until today. Just like as Councilwoman Beverly Burks said, we just trying to set the structure. We're not really naming any specific number, but we just say that we just going to say that there's going to be 3 council members, and out of the 7 of us, and the rest is going to be, members of the community. And this is definitely going to be something that will be helpful for our city growth and future development purposes.
Yep. I'll add to that. Just to give you all some background, this is a resolution, but it is not firm. The Georgia legislative representatives could actually change this at any time. We are saying that we present this as what we believe that our structure should be for our DDA. In order to have, not come in here or last meeting and vote on something that the representatives did not approve, we actually went downtown and met with 2 of the representatives. We talked at length, we discussed some issues dealing with the structure. We got a blessing, a vote of goodwill, but Mayor Terry was not there. At the time, we thought Mayor Terry might be able to make it back to the meeting for the discussion, but he wasn't able to make it back to that meeting. So we decided not to vote on it, to give Mayor Terry an opportunity to either talk to us or talk to the representatives to discuss whatever concerns or approval or disapproval that he has. My understanding is that at least he talked to Representative Henson. I'm not sure about that, but that's...
I don't know what you're saying. Just
okay, so here's the law.
I'm right here.
So that's my understanding. So we come here today to actually vote on it, giving it a week for people to actually discuss it.
And I meant to say that 2 of the councilmen, 2 of the appointees from the community, the mayor would pick 2, one would be a community member, and then one would be outside, one of the outside people. So the council would then pick 2. So the mayor would pick 2 to pick, and then the council would pick 2.
Can I ask one question? Are there the term limits? Are there anything? There wasn't anything on the term limits that I read.
It's 4 years.
It's staggering term limits.
Yeah.
Every 4 years.
It would be staggered. And look, we have examples of other cities that have that same type of structure. So you can look at Griffin, you can look at Sugar Hill, you can look at Peachtree Corner. They have similar setups, and they have a similar population as we do.
Where's the tournaments?
I do want to say, item number 1 on, was that page 3? It says number of years will be set forth in a subsequent organizing resolution. 2 of the members shall be taxpayers, and that section is number 1, board of directors shall consist of 7 members.
So there's no set out term limits in this.
Right, not this time. That's once the actual DDA is being formed, they determine the term limits.
That was going to be my question. Term limits going forward.
And just so you all know, we have an urban redevelopment agency. Last council meeting, we elected 3, the president, vice president, and the treasurer. That was voted on by the council. This is kind of the same thing. There's 3 members of the council. The council is the mayor plus the 6 members of the council. 3 of those people will be on this DDA, but it will be voted on as a whole. Once those 3 members are voted on, then, and once the 4 appointees are made from the members of the community, all 7 will vote on who will be the chair.
And the vice chair.
And the vice chair. Everything's elected as a whole. There's no particular designee, somebody who automatically is on the DDA. But each member will be voted on. As far as the council is concerned, there will be 2 appointees by the council and by the mayor.
And I just want to add, this is really, we believe it's very democratic because the members of that body they are the ones who are going to select their own chair, their own vice chair, and their own treasurer, which officers. And we're not going to tell them who to vote for or what to do. We just set in the structure right now, and every single member from this body will have the potential, will potentially be able to get in the body with the, up and down vote from the council, basically.
Just for the sponsors of the resolution, just a question. There are lots of different models for a number of years to serve on the DDA, anywhere between 2, 4, and 6 years. And I think it would just be good just to, I'm wondering if we're saying that the body, once they're constituted, formed, will set out their own terms. What if they decide to pick 6 years or 8 years? Is there a limit? Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think we should have a limit. And they do have, from the actual default structure, they go through different levels and have it staggered. And so what we can do is make it look something staggered, but as of what we have currently, we want to keep it the same.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Well, when we first started going through getting development authority here, and we were getting the information together, in that structure, it was like one member can only serve no more than 2 consecutive terms. That's where it was. And that was putting your DDA in a deactive status until you can get it organized like you guys are doing now.
All right, if there's anything, no further comments on this item, I'll open the floor up for a motion.
I move that we vote this resolution to form DDA to send to the General Assembly that have been approved in the form that we've submitted.
I second it.
Discussion?
Like discussion, I defer to the city manager.
Well, you know about the vote, but I was just responding to some of the line of questioning and just thought that maybe could help clarify. And so there are 2 separate things here. This resolution that the council is considering merely provides some high-level instruction to the state legislatures. Now, if that bill is crafted and is passed and signed by the governor, then when the city is ready to create a DDA, which quite, in fact, the city really isn't ready to create a DDA. They're doing what we need. But when the city is ready to create a DDA, that's when the organizing resolution, which includes the bylaws, which specifically articulates the structure, such as the length of term.
Right.
Typically, how that is structured is that your first term, the first time everybody meets, the terms have to be staggered to allow for staggered terms on an ongoing basis. And so I sense there was some question about the lack of specificity in this resolution, and I just want to clarify that this is not the organizing resolution, it is not the bylaws of an authority, it's merely some high-level direction to the state legislators that they can give to the legislative council, which in turn will craft the actual legislation for consideration.
Right.
And that's just a clarification I wanted to provide.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, we've been discussing this for about a year. The mayor took a class at the Mayor's Day and was really gung-ho about us forming this DDA. We're not ready to form it yet, but we do want to put it in place as to how that group will be organized. And like the city manager says, this is what this lays out as the basic formation.
All right, we've got a motion on the table. All in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. All right, none opposed, motion carries. All right, next item, item 2. I'll just start by saying that there was a resolution passed at the February council meeting. I was not able to attend because of a flight delay back from Costa Rica, and so I unfortunately was not able to be here at the resolution. I think there was some confusion on this agenda item. No veto statement has been transmitted to the city council per the city charter, so there's nothing to override. I'm not sure who put this on the agenda, but whoever did like to just, they won't say anything about it, they can.
Did you have any intention of?
I'll speak on this. My understanding is after the resolution was passed, that the mayor contacted the city attorney, directed the city attorney to charge us for drawing up veto papers. We were charged because the city attorney drew up the veto papers. My understanding is that the veto papers were waiting for the mayor at City Hall. He then came to City Hall and said he was still thinking about the veto. So instead of giving us a firm position on whether or not he was actually going to do the veto or not do the veto, because it's a pressing issue, we put this on the agenda because we were kind of left in limbo about whether or not the veto was going to occur or not. And we still are kind of in limbo because he technically has 5 days and today is the last day, so I don't know if he's firmly decided not to do the veto or we're just going to take the money that we spent for the city attorney to write up the papers and what we're going to do, but we would like an answer to that.
And I just want to add that this was passed unanimously, and I see the plan of vetoing something that really passed unanimously by City Council. It's just, and plus on top of that, it could endanger this master plan, and we could be paying probably more of your taxpayers' money because our rate can increase on the bond, and this definitely would jeopardize the whole master plan. And this master plan has been ongoing for the last, how many years? 3-4 years. And I think this is the right time we need to go forward and instead of going backwards. And I mean, it's just, I just want to make sure, I'm just hoping that the mayor will keep his word that he's not going to veto this.
Okay. I do support the Friendship Forest Master Plan. In fact, actually, it was me and Councilman Hatlock who compromised on the 2015 budget that removed a piece of the budget that I had proposed. I proposed $20,000 for community funding projects to be selected by the people, and Councilman Hadlock said we really need to work on this Friendship Forest Master Plan. So I made a compromise with him. We did $10,000 for the community budgeting and $10,000 for the Friendship Forest Master Plan. And so I'm very happy to have supported that from the very beginning and fought for it. And you know, like I said at the beginning, no veto statement's been transmitted or will be transmitted. So this item is moot, and there's nothing more. I'll open the floor for a motion to adjourn. I'm open the floor for a motion to adjourn.
I would like to say something first off on the original proposal. It says here, vote to override potential veto. So the mayor has had other conversations about trying to sidetrack the direction of the city and the council away from Friendship Forest to other issues. I just want to say that we have been working steadily towards Friendship Forest and making the streetscapes, the exit at Church Street and 285, and the other factors of the city to fit in the LCI, where we actually envision a type of belt line like they have in Atlanta that would help make this an attractive city to be a part of. And for him to draw up these papers, threaten us with his veto, we thought was a little unusual, a little uncalled for. It does cost the city money to have the city attorney draw up papers like this. Thank you.
I'm really glad that Mayor Ransom's videotaping this. It's kind of comic to watch people argue with themselves. Yes, sir.
Yes, I think I don't see where Mr. Terry, he's been bothered with this actually ever since we've been elected. This was an ongoing budget. We didn't have any budget for it, but we were just thinking of. And now it comes to being, and we voted, and the mayor was supposed to sign it. The mayor signed it, the bond. Did we sign it?
It's a resolution.
I mean, we voted on it.
Yeah, I signed all the bond papers.
So,
All right, look, this item is, there's nothing to vote on.
It's a
so
so
we're going to open the floor for a motion.
Comment on the
Other
floor.
city business.
I wasn't sure what that was, because I didn't want to speak out of turn.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that.
Is it too late to make a comment
No.
on this issue, Mayor?
Please.
Thank you.
Hi, I think most of you know me, Karen Phelps, past city councilwoman, and I don't appear often, but I do have a thought about the bond for Friendship Forest. And coincidentally, I was a bond closing paralegal for 20 years. That was my specialty. That's all I did was bonds. So I understand bonds. But What I wanted to say at this juncture before the city commits itself, regardless of which side of this you land on, you know, pro-environmental, pro-development, and we all wanted redevelopment and movement forward for a very long time. Even when I was on council, we were working on these issues. But what I would like to say at this point is because of recent events and so much chaos happening, I think that it might be smart to just sit on something for like the first 100 days of our current administration, because we don't know which side of the wall the cannonball's going to hit on. And whether everybody wants to admit it or not, refugees, refugee services, refugee niche markets, refugee and immigrant business owners, and even the apartment owners that rent to refugee placement groups, if this upcoming judicial hearing, we are going to be immediately impacted by economic drawback. And it's not going to take months to happen. It's going to hit us in the gut. Because people aren't going to be able to get visas. They're not going to be able to get green cards. They're not going to be able to get jobs. The funding for food stamps has been cut. We may need this bond for something else in the near future to help shore up our city and maybe take it in just a sustainable direction, because we don't know with the chaos that's happening where this is going to end up. A bond is a huge financial commitment, and if we need to step in as taxpayers and help hold our community together in other ways, Friendship Forest will still be there. It's not going anyplace. It's not going to fall apart. The roof isn't going to cave in. You know, and I'm not saying that it's not important. What I'm saying is maybe it's not a priority in this moment when we're not sure where we're going to end up in the next year after the end of the first 100 days. We just don't know. Food stamps have been cut, Medicare is being cut, Medicaid has been cut. We're going to have a lot of people in need in our community, and I think that it might behoove us to just maybe say, let's put a moratorium on this for 100 days, and then take it out, and see where we stand, because we might not end up as well off as we think we are.
Thank you, Karen.
And that's all.
Thank you. I'll open the floor. Yes, sure.
Thankfully, this has already been voted on and approved unanimously by the council. I'm glad for that. Thankfully, it doesn't have to be over, a veto doesn't have to be overridden, but my question to you remains, and perhaps you don't want to answer it tonight, you don't have to. Why did you ask to have a veto drawn up for this?
Just so everyone's clear, the process of drawing up a veto is a very simple process. As many of y'all know, I vetoed the charter change amendments back in January, and the exact same language in terms of how a veto statement looks, it literally is just like a paragraph, and then there's a veto statement, which is a blank. And so, you know, if the city attorney charged us any money, then ask for that money back, or don't allow them to do it, because there was no need for them to spend any time.
So you're not answering.
You can't get the money back.
Just hang on a second. And so
Can't get the money
if the city
back.
attorney has charged us money for a veto statement that was already drafted in my possession in terms of like what it's supposed to look like, and you just fill in the blank, and then what you're actually vetoing, it's literally a cut and paste job. It takes like 2 minutes. And so there's no controversy here, Mr. Hadlock. There's no veto. There's no need to override a veto. Nothing was vetoed.
But you were considering vetoing it.
There's nothing
That's my
to
question.
veto, and so
Were you not
the
considering
charter
it?
is very clear. If the mayor is going to veto something, he has to sign a veto statement and then inform the council. And that, there was no veto transmission, no discussion with the council about this veto. And if there was one, I certainly would have let folks know about it. So
if I do an open record search, then it's
just
not
going
going
around in
to
circles.
and anybody's emails or.
You know, I don't know why you're being hostile, and I made a compromise with you to fund that Friendship Forest master plan.
No, we all made a compromise, the council and you, and we all negotiated on
Okay,
that.
well, as I remember, sir, you came to me and asked me to take
Point of
$10,000 out of
Point of order, I would like you to answer the question of why you had the drawn up. You said because it was easy.
This is a,
What
this
did
is
you actually
not,
draw up?
this is not a town hall meeting.
This is a council meeting.
If you would,
Answer this question.
if you would like to, yell at the mayor, you can do it after we adjourn.
I just have a question
And
for you.
so,
Mr. Haddon.
and I've given you liberties. We're not, it's not a work session, it's not a town hall, it's not a back and forth. But I allowed you to say your word, your piece. I didn't answer you. And so we're going to just close that portion now. And I'm going to open the floor for a motion to adjourn since there's no more business.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Are we gonna do it off the record?